But we're dealing with the drama here. The presumptive, I guess, Speaker of the House, when they take over after the new year, will be Kevin McCarthy. He doesn't like you. He wants to boot you off.
He does not like me.
He wants to boot you off the committee. You have responded by peppering him with attacks about not saying anything about the former president meeting with this bigot down in Florida. You said we're going to now have to refer to you as KKK Kevin or whatever you said. What is the thinking behind this move, Congressman?
Well, Speaker of the House means you're the leader not just of your own conference, but of the party and, of both parties, but also, the People's Chamber, 435 representatives to the country. And if you cannot denounce white nationalism or white supremacy when its leader goes to your former president's home and has dinner, how are you going to lead this country with so much on the line, funding Ukraine, keeping the government open, extending the debt ceiling? And you're right, Chris, he doesn't like me. He's gone at me. He's gone after my family. He's brought many threats to our doorsteps. And I never go looking for a fight, but I will punch back twice as hard in my own defense when someone does that. And not just my defense, but the defense of this country and what matters most to all of us. And I just don't think he's up for the job. And frankly, when I receive, questions for comment about what McCarthy's going to do to me, my response is, why don't you catch up with me when he becomes Speaker? Because right now it seems that he doesn't even have the votes within his own conference to do that.
Can you stop him from kicking you off a committee?
If he has the votes, I cannot. But I think I can make the case that he's going after me in retaliation for our caucus voting to kick Marjorie Taylor Greene off the committee. And if you think that anything that I have said or Adam Schiff has said or Ilhan Omar has said is comparable to Marjorie Taylor Greene posting, on social media about killing Nancy Pelosi, then you just don't have the facts. And so it is retaliatory, but it's not going to stop me from speaking up, whatever he does. But again, I think his biggest problem right now is that to even become Speaker, he's going to have to strike a drug deal with the likes of Matt Gaetz and other people in his conference.
I have an observation. I've learned something since coming here to NewsNation, doing the podcast. A big percentage of the people who watch this show are not fans of your party or the Republican Party. I think if they were probably put to it, the Republican Party's got more problems going on within it than you do, but you guys do a very good job of not making your best case sometimes, as you guys complain very often about your own messengers. How do you get past the gotcha game, which you're playing right now, and I understand why you're playing it, because they're coming at you, to reach out to the core of this country with a better idea than the Republicans suck? You may not like me, but they suck. How do you get to the core of the country and get the people who want reasonable, who want decent, who want progress, who want you guys coming up with deals and ways to mess with Iran, not with McCarthy?
Yeah. It's a great perspective and question, Chris, and I get frustrated too. And there are times where I, ask myself, did I really need to do that? And I remind myself why I went to Congress, which was, to make my own community better, for myself and the people I grew up with. And I won beating a 40-year incumbent Democrat, one of the most liberal members of Congress, by relying on Republican votes in a top two system. I was one of the most bipartisan members of Congress before Donald Trump came in. But I saw when he came in, everything in the House changed. But even in spite of that, I chair with Tom Emmer, who helped his party retake the House, is the RNC, the Republican leader. Mm-hmm. I chair the Precision Medicine Caucus with Tom, and we're working to make it cheaper for every family to afford genetic sequencing. I work with Guy Reschenthaler from Pennsylvania on the Rare Earth Caucus to try and find ways, to beat China in rare earth exploration and production. So it's still trying to find folks who are willing to reach out and work with you. But you're right. If the country sees us divided, and more so if our enemies see us divided, that only helps them. But you have to keep trying. And as I said, I'll keep defending myself when punched, but my nature is a collaborative one. And I think, sadly, that doesn't get reported on as much. I have seen you, and you stand out as one of the few that does this, that does try and bring, both parties on and talk about what you agree on. But that doesn't sell in the eyes of, other media outlets.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of News Nation's fact-driven coverage.